The irregular beeping from the quantum resonance detector was the first sign that something had gone terribly wrong with the Aurora's test flight. Dr. Maya Chen stared at the fluctuating readings, her dark eyes reflecting the pulsing patterns of the holographic display. What should have been a routine test of the experimental Hawking drive in the outer solar system had somehow landed them somewhere else. "Status report," she called out, keeping her voice steady despite the growing knot in her stomach. The bridge of humanity's most advanced research vessel was eerily quiet, except for the soft hum of machinery. "The drive's stable, but these coordinates don't match any known star charts," Lieutenant Sarah O'Connor replied from the navigation station, her fingers dancing across the haptic interface. "Either our navigation system is completely fried, or we're way off course." "Like, way off?" Maya nodded, considering their options. The Hawking drive was humanity's first attempt at FTL travel, based on theories that most of the scientific community had dismissed as impossible. Yet here they were, presumably far from Earth, with a functioning ship and a crew of 12 looking to her for answers. "Dr. Chen," the urgent voice of their sensor operator, Dr. Raj Patel, cut through her thoughts. Multiple objects approaching at high speed. Definitely artificial, definitely big. Before Maya could respond, the ship's communications array erupted with a cascade of signals unlike anything in their database. The universal translator they'd brought along, more an optimistic gesture than a serious tool, struggled to process the incoming data. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made everyone on the bridge catch their breath. 3 vessels, each easily dwarfing the Aurora, hung in space before them. Their designs defied conventional engineering logic, all curved surfaces and impossible geometries that seemed to bend light around them. "Well," Maya said, straightening her uniform, "I guess we're not alone anymore." The alien ships surrounded them in a perfect triangular formation. Maya couldn't help but admire the precision of their movements. These weren't amateur spacers. As she watched, patterns of light danced across their hulls in what had to be some form of communication. "They're hailing us," Raj announced, his voice mixing excitement with apprehension. "I think. The signal pattern matches our communication frequencies, but it's like nothing I've ever seen." Maya took a deep breath. First contact. Humanity's greatest moment or worst nightmare was about to unfold, and she was responsible for whatever happened next. Open a channel. Let's hope the translator can earn its keep. The view screen shifted, and Maya found herself facing something that challenged her understanding of life itself. The alien commander appeared to be a shifting collection of crystalline structures arranged in a roughly humanoid form, glowing with internal light that pulsed in time with its speech. "Unknown vessel," the translator finally managed, its artificial voice struggling with concepts it wasn't designed to convey. "You have entered restricted space using prohibited technologies. Explain your presence." Maya glanced at her crew, seeing her own mix of fear and wonder reflected in their faces. "I am Dr. Maya Chen of the Earth research vessel Aurora. We are peaceful explorers who seem to have accidentally stumbled into your territory during a drive test. We mean no harm." The crystalline being's lights flickered rapidly. "Surprise, perhaps. Earth is not registered in the galactic database. Your technology is both primitive and impossible. Explain this contradiction." Maya couldn't help but smile. If there was one thing humans were good at, it was achieving the impossible. "That's a bit of a long story. Perhaps we could discuss it somewhere more comfortable than a standoff in open space." There was a long pause, during which the alien vessel's lights pulsed in complex patterns. Finally, the crystalline being spoke again. "Your directness is unexpected. You show neither fear nor aggression, despite being clearly outmatched. Interesting. You will follow us to Station Deep Horizon. There, the Council will evaluate your species." As the Aurora fell into formation behind the massive alien ships, Maya sent a quick message to Earth using their quantum entanglement communicator. Another impossible technology they'd somehow made work. The message was simple. First contact established. They're surprised we're here. So are we. Stand by for updates. Looking at her crew's determined faces, Maya felt a surge of pride. They were about to represent humanity to an advanced galactic civilization, armed with nothing but their wits, their jury-rigged technology, and their unshakable human spirit. Somehow, she knew that would be enough. What she didn't know was that their arrival was about to shake the foundations of galactic society, challenging assumptions that had stood for millennia. The galaxy wasn't ready for humans, but then again, the galaxy didn't have a choice. Station Deep Horizon lived up to its name. The massive structure hung in space like a jeweled spider's web, its crystalline spires stretching for kilometers in every direction. The Aurora, dwarfed by the station's scale, approached a docking bay that could have housed a small fleet of Earth's largest ships. Dr. Maya Chen stood before the Galactic Council chamber, trying not to feel overwhelmed by the assemblage of alien species arrayed in rising tiers around her. Some were vaguely humanoid, others defied description. The crystalline beings who had escorted them here, she had learned, were called the Lumini, and served as the Council's peacekeepers. Your species' achievement of faster-than-light travel with such primitive technology is concerning, announced first speaker Vex, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical frame. It suggests a dangerous disregard for established scientific protocols. Before Maya could defend humanity's methods, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Holographic displays materialized, showing a rapidly expanding distortion in spacetime centered on a nearby star system. Quantum cascade failure in the Proxima Centauri sector reported a multi-limb technician, its appendages flying over control surfaces. The experimental quantum communication network is collapsing. 11 billion sentients are in immediate danger. The Council erupted in chaos. Maya caught fragments of conversation about evacuation impossibilities and containment failures. She studied the holographic display, her mind racing. The patterns seemed familiar. First speaker, she interrupted, her voice cutting through the panic. Those energy signatures, they're similar to what we encountered during our early Hawking drive tests. We might be able to help. The chamber fell silent. Vex's energy form pulsed skeptically. Your primitive technology cannot possibly. Our primitive technology works precisely because we had to solve problems your civilization never encountered, Maya countered. You've had quantum communication networks for so long, you've forgotten the fundamental instabilities we had to overcome. Lieutenant O'Connor stepped forward, pulling up data from their drive tests on her tablet. The quantum cascade is following the same resonance patterns we saw in our failed experiments. We developed containment protocols, which we could adapt to a larger scale using the station's power grid. Dr. Patel chimed in, already running calculations. It's not elegant, but it should work. The council members exchanged glances. First speaker Vex's frame hummed as it processed the situation. The risk is less than doing nothing, Maya finished. We need to act now. After a moment that felt like eternity, Vex nodded. Proceed. But know that if you fail, the consequences will be severe. What followed was a blur of activity that showcased humanity's greatest strength, the ability to improvise. Maya's team worked alongside alien engineers, combining Earth's brute force solutions with advanced alien technology. They converted the Aurora's Hawking drive containment system into a prototype, then scaled it up using the station's vast power resources. The cascade is approaching critical mass, announced the Lumini supervisor. Your device must be activated within the next 3 minutes. Maya watched as Dr. Patel made final adjustments to their jury-rigged quantum dampener. The device was a mess of human and alien technology that would have given any engineering review board nightmares, but it was their only shot. Ready on your mark, Paddle reported, his fingers hovering over the activation sequence. Maya took a deep breath. Initialize the dampening field. The station shuddered as unprecedented amounts of energy flowed through their device. On the holographic display, the quantum cascade's expansion began to slow. For a terrifying moment, it seemed to resist their efforts. Then, gradually, it started to collapse in on itself. Containment holding at 67%. O'Connor called out. 80%. 92%. Cascade collapse confirmed. The council chamber erupted in cheers, or their species equivalent of cheers. Maya caught sight of first speaker Vex's energy form, pulsing in what might have been approval. It seems, Vex announced once order was restored, that we must reevaluate our assessment of human technology. Your solution was unorthodox, potentially dangerous, and completely successful. Maya smiled. That's kind of our specialty. Sometimes the best solution isn't the most elegant one. It's the one that works. Indeed. Vex's energy form shifted thoughtfully. Perhaps your species has more to teach us than we initially assumed. The Council will need to discuss the implications of today's events. As the Council members filed out, Maya knew that humanity had just proven itself on the galactic stage, not through overwhelming technology or military might, but through the uniquely human combination of theoretical knowledge, practical ingenuity, and the willingness to take calculated risks. What she didn't yet realize was that their handling of the quantum crisis would have far-reaching consequences. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology. It was their ability to think differently about problems that others had long since given up on solving. 2 months after the quantum crisis, Station Deep Horizon had become a hub of unprecedented activity. Dr. Maya Chen watched from the observation deck as ships from across the galaxy arrived daily, drawn by rumors of the species that had achieved the impossible with primitive technology. Another delegation requesting a meeting, Lieutenant O'Connor reported, checking her newly issued galactic communicator. The synthetics of the Mechanist Collective. They're particularly interested in how we integrated organic decision-making with quantum computing. Maya suppressed a smile. The quantum computing in question was largely the result of Dr. Patel's talent for writing adaptive algorithms, combined with human intuition. The galactic community's obsession with their methods was both flattering and slightly amusing. Dr. Chen. The melodic voice belonged to Ambassador Lyra, a Lumini diplomat who had become their unofficial guide to galactic politics. Her crystalline form sparkled with what Maya had learned to recognize as concern. The Council is convening an emergency session. Your presence is required. The Council chamber was tenser than Maya had ever seen it. First Speaker Vex's energy form churned with agitation as representatives from various species argued amongst themselves. Order, Vex commanded, its mechanical frame amplifying its presence. We are here to address the growing concerns about human influence on galactic stability. A representative of the Mechanist Collective rose, its chrome surface reflecting the chamber's lights. The humans have shared their technological innovations with 17 different species in the past month alone. Their methods are unorthodox, untested, and effective, interrupted Zyra, a representative of the organic technology symbiotes known as the Verdant Collective. Her plant-like form swayed with emotion. Their improvements to our agricultural matrices have increased yield by 300%. At what cost? The Mechanist's voice modulated with distress. They suggest modifications to systems that have been stable for millennia. Their approach to technology is chaotic. Maya listened to the debate with growing understanding. It wasn't just their technology that unsettled the galactic community. It was their entire approach to problem-solving. Humans didn't respect the boundaries between disciplines, didn't hesitate to question established methods, and seemed to thrive on finding unconventional solutions. If I may speak, she said, stepping forward. The chamber gradually fell silent. I understand your concerns. Humans have a saying. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. But we also believe that good enough isn't always good enough. We push boundaries not because we're reckless, but because we see possibilities. She gestured to the holographic displays showing various human-inspired innovations. Yes, we take risks. Yes, we question established methods. But we also test, verify, and improve. We don't change things just for the sake of change. We do it because we believe things can be better. A new voice joined the discussion. Ambassador Nexus of the Quantum Architects, a species Maya had never seen before. Their forms seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The humans speak truth. We have observed their methods. They do not merely innovate, they iterate. Each solution builds upon the last, incorporating feedback and improvements. It is elegant in its own way. The chamber buzzed with conversation. First speaker Vex's energy form pulsed thoughtfully. Perhaps, it said finally, we have been too quick to judge human methods by our own standards. Their approach, while different, has proven valuable. However, Vex continued, its tone growing serious. This raises new challenges. The pace of human-inspired change must be managed. We propose the creation of a new council division, the Innovation Integration Committee, to oversee the implementation of human technological contributions. Maya exchanged glances with O'Connor. It was a political compromise, but one they could work with. We would be honored to participate in such a committee, she replied diplomatically. As the session concluded, Ambassador Lyra approached Maya, her crystalline form glowing with what seemed like amusement. You've achieved something remarkable, Dr. Chen. The Council has never created a new division in response to a single species before. I'm not sure whether to be flattered or worried, Maya admitted. Both would be appropriate, Lyra replied. Your species has initiated changes that will ripple through our civilization for centuries to come. Not all change is comfortable, but perhaps that discomfort is necessary for growth. Walking back to the Aurora's docking bay, Maya reflected on how far they'd come from that accidental first contact. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy not by conforming to existing standards, but by offering new perspectives and possibilities. What she didn't know was that their greatest challenge and opportunity was yet to come. An ancient mystery was about to surface, one that would require all of humanity's unique abilities to solve, and would forever change their understanding of their place in the cosmos. Deep within Station Deep Horizon's archives, Dr. Maya Chen found herself surrounded by holographic projections of what the galactic community called the Eternal Enigma. The patterns floating before her were unlike anything she'd seen before. Complex geometrical shapes that seemed to shift and change even as she watched them. These artifacts have been studied for over 50,000 years, Ambassador Lyra explained, her crystalline form casting prismatic light patterns through the ancient symbols. They were discovered simultaneously across 17 different sectors of space, yet no one has ever decoded their meaning. Dr. Raj Patel circled the projections, his eyes narrowed in concentration. And they just appeared. No signs of who created them. None, confirmed first speaker Vex, who had taken a personal interest in showing the humans these ancient records. The finest minds in the galaxy have attempted to decipher them. All have failed. Maya watched as the symbols cycled through their endless dance. Something about their movements seemed familiar. Lieutenant O'Connor, she called out, does this remind you of anything? Sarah O'Connor stepped closer to the display, her head tilted slightly. Actually, yeah. It's like those wave function visualizations we used to debug the Hawking drive. The ones that kept collapsing until we realized we were looking at them wrong. Raj finished excitedly. We were trying to analyze them as sequential patterns when they were actually simultaneous states. Maya turned to their alien hosts. These aren't separate symbols. They're multiple dimensions of the same pattern, all existing simultaneously. We only see them as separate because we're perceiving them through three-dimensional space. Vex's energy form pulsed with interest. Explain. Maya gestured at the flowing symbols. Humans struggled with quantum mechanics for centuries because we tried to force it to make sense in classical terms. We had to learn to think beyond our natural perceptions. These symbols, they're not meant to be read. They're meant to be experienced, all at once. But that's impossible, one of the archive keepers protested. No consciousness can process multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Maybe we don't have to, Raj suggested, already pulling up data on his tablet. What if we used the quantum dampener we developed during the crisis? Modified it to act as a sort of dimensional lens. The next 48 hours were a blur of activity. The human team, working alongside the station's best scientists, reconfigured their quantum dampening technology into something entirely new. They called it a dimensional resonance viewer, though as O'Connor pointed out, that was really just a fancy name for let's see what happens when we look at all the patterns at once. Ready for initial test, Raj announced, his fingers dancing over the controls of their jury-rigged device. The assembled aliens watched with a mixture of skepticism and curiosity. Maya took a deep breath. Activate the viewer. The holographic symbol suddenly collapsed into a single point of light, then expanded into something that made everyone in the room gasp. It was a message, but not one written in any language. Instead, it was pure mathematical concept, expressing itself directly in their minds. "It's beautiful," Lyra whispered, her crystalline form resonating with the mathematical harmony. The message was both simple and profound. It was a proof, one that demonstrated the fundamental interconnectedness of all matter and energy in the universe. But more than that, it was an invitation. The patterns weren't just information. They were a test. Any civilization advanced enough to perceive them in their true form would also be advanced enough to understand their significance. "This changes everything," Vex declared, its energy form swirling with excitement. "The implications for unified field theory alone." "That's not all," Maya interrupted, her eyes fixed on a secondary pattern that had emerged. "Look at the temporal signatures in the carrier wave. These aren't just patterns in space. They're patterns in time. I think someone's about to answer our solution." As if in response to her words, new symbols began appearing in the air around them, fresh ones, being created in real time. The ancient mystery had been more than a puzzle. It had been a door, and humanity had just helped open it. Multiple quantum signatures detected throughout the station, O'Connor reported, checking her instruments. "Something's coming through." Maya shared a look with her crew, then turned to first speaker Vex. "I think we're about to make first contact again. This time, with whoever left these patterns for us to find." What she didn't yet realize was that this discovery would do more than advance their understanding of the universe. It would become crucial to humanity's greatest challenge yet, one that would require all of their ingenuity, creativity, and courage to overcome. The beams that emerged from the dimensional gateway defied description. They existed as patterns of pure energy and information, their very presence causing reality to ripple around them. Dr. Maya Chen stood beside first speaker Vex as the entities coalesced into forms that their minds could comprehend. "We are the architects." They communicated, not in words, but in pure concept. "You have solved our puzzle, but you have done so just in time." Before they could respond, alarms blared throughout Station Deep Horizon. Lieutenant O'Connor's voice cut through the chaos. Multiple spatial anomalies detected. Something's tearing holes in spacetime across the entire sector. The architect's forms pulsed with urgency. The Void Hunters have found this reality. They consume dimensions, devour possibilities. We created the puzzles to find civilizations capable of helping us stop them. Through the station's vast observation windows, Maya watched in horror as space itself began to tear. Dark shapes moved through the rifts, things that hurt to look at, that shouldn't exist in normal spacetime. The quantum crisis, Maya realized suddenly. It wasn't an accident. It was them, wasn't it, testing the boundaries of this dimension. "Correct," the architects confirmed. "Your solution delayed them, but now they come in force. Your quantum dampening technology, combined with our dimensional understanding, might be the key to stopping them permanently." First speaker Vex's energy form churned with determination. "The Council pledges all resources to this fight, but how can we unite so many different species quickly enough to mount an effective defense?" Maya stepped forward, an idea forming. The same way humans have always handled seemingly impossible challenges. We improvise, adapt, and overcome. But most importantly, we do it together. What followed was the greatest cooperative effort in galactic history. The Innovation Integration Committee, originally created to manage human technological contributions, became the command center for an unprecedented alliance. Every species contributed their unique strengths. The Lumines crystalline networks provided instant communication across vast distances. The Mechanist Collective's quantum processors calculated battle strategies. The Verdant Collective's organic technology helped heal damaged space-time. And humans did what they did best. They found ways to make it all work together. The Void Hunters are targeting populated systems, O'Connor reported, monitoring the tactical display. They're learning, adapting to our defenses. Then we'll have to adapt faster, Maya responded. She turned to Dr. Patel. Raj, remember how we solved the puzzle? By looking at all dimensions simultaneously. His eyes lit up with understanding. If we modify the dimensional resonance viewer, turn it into a weapon, we could see their true forms. One of the architects completed the thought. Make them vulnerable. The next few hours were a blur of activity. Species that had once debated the proper way to improve a power plant now worked in perfect harmony, driven by necessity and inspired by human ingenuity. They built what Raj jokingly called the multidimensional spotlight of doom, a massive device that combined the architect's knowledge with human innovation and the advanced technology of every allied species. When the Void Hunters attacked Station Deep Horizon itself, they found not a fragmented collection of different species, but a unified force ready to meet them. The station's new defensive system, powered by the combined technology of a dozen civilizations, lit up the darkness of space. For the first time, the Void Hunters became visible in all their horrifying glory, and in becoming visible, became vulnerable. The combined fleet, coordinated through human tactical innovations, struck with devastating precision. Multiple quantum signatures collapsing. O'Connor called out, "They're retreating." "Not retreating," the architects corrected. "Being destroyed. You've done what we could not. Found a way to end their threat permanently." As the last of the Void Hunters vanished, destroyed by the very unity they had hoped to disrupt, Maya looked around the command center. Humans worked alongside crystalline beings, energy constructs, and living machines. Each species was distinct, yet they had come together, combining their strengths to achieve something impossible. First Speaker Vex approached Maya, its energy form glowing with what she had learned to recognize as pride. "When your ship first arrived, we thought your species primitive, possibly dangerous. We were wrong. Your greatest strength isn't your technology or even your adaptability. It's your ability to bring out the best in others, to find ways to make different approaches work together. That's humanity for you," Maya smiled. "We never let our limitations define us. Instead, we find ways to turn them into strengths." The architect's forms shimmered with approval. "This is why we left the puzzles, not just to find allies against the Void Hunters, but to find species who could help unite the galaxy. You have exceeded our expectations." As Maya looked out at the stars, she realized that this wasn't just a victory over an external threat. It was proof that diversity, when properly harnessed, wasn't a weakness but the greatest strength of all. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not by dominating or conforming, but by helping everyone work together. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly how it should be.